Gentlemen, thank you very much for giving us your time. George, let's start with you. There has been diverse reactions on this ruling. Let's get yours specifically.
Well, the reaction we would have is very predictably that we support it. We do believe that in a lot of instances, state governments have determined which local governments to put priorities in terms of development based on political patronage. So we have instances, for example, in Lagos, that if there's a local government in which the governor does not get the certain number of votes, possibility is very much there that that local government will not get the right kind of resources. So this allows the local governments to stand on their own and be accountable directly to the citizens without worrying about the political thought or ideology of the state government. But this is a double-edged sword. So as we continue this conversation, I'll share what I think about the idea that local governments are not tied directly to the federal government in terms of the fact that that's where the funding comes from. That's where the lobbying will also start from.
All right, Dayo, let's bring you in. You've been in the thick of things as a former local government secretary. Could you talk to us about the position that's just been put forward by George, that it might be a double-edged sword?
Well, to me, I don't see it that way, because I see this judgment as a positive development in the right direction. The Nigerian state have been, over the years, been raped by our governors. I have been a local government functionary at local government, my local government, Akinyele local government. And I can tell you in practical terms that what the local government goes through is nothing to write home about. In fact, we should not even be stating it here, because some of those news are nothing, they are not things that Nigerians will be happy to hear. The local government has been turned into an appendix or the extension of the governor's house. And this judgment is just what Nigerians need for us to get the right development. Development is really at the local government level, whether you like it or not. The majority of Nigerians are suffering at the local government level. So, giving the excuses that lobbying or what have you, that is not the issue for now. In fact, to me, what I would say is that as an agenda to develop the local government level, and to develop the Nigerian state at the local government level, we should start pushing that Section 308 should now, our legislature should work on the Section 308, which gives governors immunity, by creating, a particular clause that will make it difficult for governors to tamper with, the finances of the local government.
Dayo, we just got a ruling. Let's talk about that one a little more. I'll come back to you in a bit. But George, he doesn't agree with you that it's a double-edged sword. So I'd like you to explain a little what you mean when you say it's a double-edged sword. We know that there has been reaction. I've read some experts talk about the dangers. Even the former governor of Delta State, James Ibori, has talked about how it undermines the principle of federalism as outlined in the Constitution. Please talk to us.
I will call it a double-edged sword, and I'll stand by what I said, because we know that you have to be accountable to the person that provides you the funding. They are the ones who will look and say, how have you spent what you spent, and what do you need for a second one? That doesn't mean I disagree with the judgment. As a matter of fact, not only do I agree with the judgment, I'm also going further to say that the Supreme Court should make a statement concerning the elections, that the state electoral commissions should be scrapped, and there should be a different way in which we present and we produce local government chairmen. So that is there. So financial autonomy is fine, and the autonomy of local government in terms of interference with governors, nobody accepts it. But we every issue with a very objective. Have to be very careful not to do everything without looking at it objectively. So my interest as a party chairman is to look to see whether or not there are hidden traps, and there are issues we're going to deal with 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 5 years down the line. we have to go back to 1999 and when this new dispensation came in, the democratic dispensation. We saw abuses by the federal government in some states by withdrawing local government funds. Now, the reason they were doing that was because, in quotes, state governments had begun to create what were called illegal entities. But you see, even that made the local government starve. So why can't we create an entity that guarantees the funds of the local government without having to pass through the approval, whether intrinsic or extrinsic, of the powers that be at the federal government? So what I'm looking at is this: if you are going to create autonomy, let it be total. Let not one part is total. I mean, one part is autonomy. The other part you still need to rely on a state electoral commission. Another part you still have to rely on the federal agencies that are in charge of allocations. What we are saying is this: is a third tier of government. Whatever is guaranteed to the federal government, guaranteed to the state government, should come straight to the local government, and the electoral processes, creating, the agencies that are going to be in charge of those electoral processes and the local government should be utterly autonomous. You shouldn't have state governments deciding who is the permanent secretary of the State Electoral Commission. We're back to the same thing. Okay. And don't forget, political parties are still going to campaign, and these political parties are going to campaign as one. So we really need the people to be directly involved in controlling the direction in which local government autonomy is going. That's why I believe that even though the Supreme Court has given a good judgment, we should look at it in total and see how we can implement it in a way that the citizens and the electors...
I'll come back to you on the options available, if any, to maybe review the ruling. But for now, let's go back to Dayo. There's been a lot of complaint over the years about how the local government is starved of fund, and you obviously are in support of the ruling. So talk to us briefly, outline some of the benefits and the impact that this ruling will have on local governments.
Well, I agree with the speaker,
George,
the last speaker, that the local government autonomy, as it is now by this judgment, it doesn't make it El Dorado. I agree with that. We need to have an holistic restructuring of the local governments as it is today, because we cannot say because we have this judgment, we might be creating, we might be taking off killing a monster to create another one. I don't agree with that. So in tandem with what he's saying, I think I will agree with the fact that we need to look at the whole local government holistically and see what about what happens to the organogram of the local government. You have a civil service structure that is more educated, more exposed in the local government, and you have a school start becoming the chairman of the local government. That to me is total rubbish. At the 21st century, we need to raise the bar. We can't just say because we are creating autonomy, then we allow people who are school start fail out to be becoming local government chairman. That to me is not worth it. I think I agree with him on that. We need to have an holistic approach to solving the problem. But this particular judgment is a right step in the right direction, but we need to go further.
You haven't even made an attempt to answer the part of the question about the impact, and we're out of time. So I will hold on to that part of the question.
The impact, I'm coming to that. The impact is that it will make people to be able to choose the right person they want at the local government. But what I'm saying is that in choosing people they want at the local government to govern them, we need to create a system of assimilation system into the local government. The recruitment system, we have to check it. A situation whereby some oligarchy people, some people sit down and just pick people to become local government, answerable to them. We might be chasing a monster to create another one. That's what I'm saying.
Dayo, yes, we're time pressed, so I would have to interject and give George maybe the closing remarks for this interview. Quickly, is there any opportunity really for a review? It is a Supreme Court ruling.
Oh, yes, the review is not so much. The federal government took the state government's court over 27 legal principles concerning local government autonomy. So what we've got now is financial autonomy. There are lots of other issues that are attached to it that we now have to test in the lower court again. How the elections are held, how local government staff are recruited. Are they staff of the state government, in which case 100% of all the people in local government will still belong to the governor? So those are things that we call review to create the right kind of autonomy that will serve the Nigerian people at the local level, which is where government should be felt. So really, it's an opportunity to start, and then let's finish what we started.
Thank you, George, for keeping it brief. And gentlemen, Dayo, thank you as well for being on the news. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.